Soundstripe. 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 Soundstripe.
Good morning. Welcome back. I got to schedule a haircut. Damn. I'll do that right now. Looking at myself, I look terrible. Morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm messing around with the intro songs. I'll find a good one. That one's all right. I'm not loving it. It's okay. I think I could do better. I think I could do a little bit better. So we'll get a new one tomorrow. I'll be on the search tonight. I wish I didn't have to use royalty-free music. I wish I could just throw in some of my favorite songs in there, but then YouTube's going to start putting strikes on my account, and then I'll be gone. All right. Alex, appreciate that. $1.49. Morning, guys. Morning. Let me just schedule my haircut real quick. All right. There's availability today. Can you believe it? Maybe I'll go today. Boom. Done. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Hope everyone had a good day yesterday. Make my own song. That's a good idea. I should make my own song. I should try to do that. It's a fantastic idea, actually. You know what? I'm going to work on that. That'll be my new project. All right. Yesterday, really nice day for some of the trades we talked about. I don't know if any of you guys here caught the Meta trade. That was insane. Awesome trade. Verbatim what we talked about in the live stream. That pullback. We'll go over, just show it. Why not just show it real quick while we wait for some people to jump in. Just an absolutely perfection pullback to that previous day high here. Right there yesterday, and look at the long that occurred off that previous day high, man. That was awesome. Caught some of it, didn't catch the whole thing, right? Caught some of it, did not catch the whole thing, and that's trading, right? Of course, I wish I caught this entire move. You know, I should have. There's really no excuse in terms of my experience and my ability to trade. I should have been able to catch more on this. I don't know. I took my quick profit and was very happy with, the sort of week off of trading, came back and hit a really nice clean trade on Meta, took those profits and walked away happy. But man, probably could have let that thing ride a little bit more. But that was just a beauty. That was a beauty. Netflix was another one that we talked about, that 580. Look at that. Perfection. So some nice trades yesterday. Had a little bit of a loser on ES yesterday. Looking for some SPY puts here around this 5187. Didn't quite work out for me. But overall, pretty much a flat day for me yesterday. Was happy to get back into the swing of things, and Meta was just sick. So awesome stuff there yesterday. Hopefully you guys caught some of that off some of those levels we talked about. Really nice stuff. Shopify, another sick one. We talked about that to end the stream yesterday. So overall, market action was iffy, sort of morning to afternoon, but the overall moves on some of these names were sick. So congratulations on some of that, guys. If you caught any of it today, some more opportunity, I think. Right? It seems like the market's presenting some opportunity, some interesting overnight moves because of some news. We have the Apple news about creating their own. What's the word for this? It's not, I guess you could say creating their own semiconductors, but they call it something AI server chips. Apple reportedly working on its own AI server chips, which definitely gave Apple a little bit of a bump there in the after hours and also hurt Nvidia a little bit. But is this an Nvidia opportunity? I don't know, right? We don't know for sure how much the Apple server chips will affect Nvidia negatively. So is it an opportunity on Nvidia? Possibly. It didn't really dip that much. It's down a little bit. It's still above key demand levels today. So going to be looking out to see how Nvidia reacts off that today. Also, if you guys caught that news, we have a little bit of news on Apple as well. Double news for Apple that they're a rumor that they're working with Rivian to, sort of, how Apple canceled their EV sort of pursuit, but it might be better for Apple just to work with an existing EV manufacturer, which right now looks to be Rivian. So interesting. That's an interesting little rumor to maybe buy a little bit of Rivian on, right? Put some money into it, see what happens. I don't know. It's a rumor, so I don't know any more than you guys know. That's going to be a you call. That's not a me call. So interesting there. I know we talked about that Apple Rivian partnership a few months ago, and it looks like it's still sort of being rumored. So interesting. I don't know if you really put that much money on that kind of rumor. It could be totally fake. Who knows? Unless you know someone that works at Apple. And in that case, that would be insider trading. And in that case, you probably don't want to trade off of that information. But that's totally up to you. That's not for me to advise for or against. So, some interesting news there. Overall, strong again on the market. And the title of the live stream is about some pretty interesting gaps that have been left behind on the SPY and on the QQQ. So, a little bit cautious there, right? A little bit cautious on how we have pretty much just gapped up and gone higher every single day for the last 3 trading days. Keeps me a little bit cautious on looking for upside and upside and upside. But overall, the grinds have been healthy, and we'll look to see what it does again today. All right. Brunson, yeah, Brunson Knicks win yesterday. Bruins, shout out TB. His Bruins absolutely manhandled the Florida Panthers yesterday. I have a buddy who likes the Bruins as well, so I wouldn't mind seeing the Bruins in the Eastern Conference Finals if the Rangers make it there. But I hope they do. But yeah, Knicks 1-0. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Let's get started. If you could, press that like button as we get started here. Try to get us to 1,000 likes early. That would be awesome. Always like those likes. Likes and subscribes always help out the channel, help the momentum go, help us keep the momentum going. Here is the economic calendar. Today, really not much. Tentative on the time for this, so I don't even know what time that's coming out. The TIP economic optimism report, I don't really think that's going to give us much. Consumer credit at 3 o'clock. I hope we're not trading at 3 o'clock. If you are, you need to reconsider yourself. I do not think you should be trading all day into 3 o'clock, but hey, that's up to you. Wednesday, tomorrow, really not much, just the 10-year bond auction. Thursday, the 30-year bond auction and our normal unemployment claims. And Friday, our consumer sentiment. So really not too much here like we talked about on the economic calendar. On the earnings side, we do have some interesting ones still. Today we had Disney this morning. We had Celsius this morning, which is a little bit lower. Datadog, I think, is lower as well. Walt Disney, I don't even see. How did Disney report? Let's take a look. Okay. A little bit down on Disney this morning. Let's see what are the numbers looking like. Disney pairs streaming losses, takes hit from India deal. Interesting. Okay. EPS beat, sales miss. Core subs plus 6 million. Average revenue per user up 44 cents. I don't know what the expectations were on the subs. Do they have that? Wow, a lot of data here. I'd have to read through this. Core subscribers increased more than 6 million. It looks like the market is not loving what they said. I'd have to read through this a little bit more. I didn't have a chance to read through their report. But it looks like Disney slightly lower on earnings this morning. Down, what is that? Down about 7%, 6-7%. So Disney down on earnings tonight. You got Rivian tonight upstart, whatever you want to call it. Wynn Resorts, Lyft, Oxy, Twilio, Toast. As you guys know, I'm interested in this Toast one. Tomorrow morning, Uber, Shopify, Affirm. Very interested in that Shopify chart. We'll look at it again today. Arm, Robinhood, Airbnb, Trade Desk, an interesting one as well. Roblox. So still some earnings out there. Just be aware of that. Make sure you know your earnings calendar before you swing trade any of these names. All right. Let's get started. So, the level that I'm watching here today on the NASDAQ futures is this 18,226, and that is right here. Let me zoom in on this price action, and that is right here for you guys. So, 18,226 is the high of April 15th. Oh, not the high, but this little midday rejection. You see this right here? 18,226. That is the high right there. That is some rejections right here. That is a hold right here. And that is a hold right here. So right around this 18,230, 18,226, you can see there are some reactions on the NASDAQ futures. That is where we are sitting below today. So that's my level here today. 18,226 looks to be a NASDAQ level. If we go back to the hourly chart, that did have some importance. Let me go to the 30-minute actually, and I'll get some more time here. I'll show you it on the 30-minute. Might be more clear to see there. Right here in the 30-minute chart. So here's the 30-minute chart, and this is dating back to April, pretty much all of April. We can see right here, all right here, a little bit right here, right? We can see these rejections right here. We can see this rejection right there. So a lot of reactions right around this 18,230, 18,226 level, and that is where we are sitting today. Now, if we do get above this level right here, this 226, I would say your next level is right here, right up in that 350. You can see 350, 350, a little bit of 350, 350, 350, right? 350 right there. So a lot of reactions up there at 18,350. So first level today that I have on my charts is that 18,226. That is right where we are sitting below today, right there. Now, yesterday, we had a hold over that 18,070. This was a really nice hold yesterday intraday. See this hold right here? 18,070. I'll zoom in on this. This hold intraday yesterday, right there, holding above this 18,070 was a very key hold. It was a hold above that Friday high, and it was a hold right there intraday yesterday. 18,070. Good demand hold, good long entry off that level yesterday. This was also, if we go over here, look at the holds that came in at 18,070 in the past, right here. 18,070, 18,070, 18,070 held this market higher back in April. That is the exact level that held yesterday. So that is a very strong demand level that we need to be aware of. This would be a level that I'd look for pullback longs, right? I want some kind of a pullback on this market. We have not quite seen an intraday pullback yet, right? We have not seen intraday pullbacks. We've gone up, right? We have not seen those intraday pullbacks to create long opportunities. Yesterday, not really a pullback, just a hold above a demand, which is good, right? That 18,070 was a nice hold, creating that upside move into our next supply at 18,226. So today, here's your channel, right? Your channel of the day looks to be between 18,226 and that 18,070 level. This is what we're looking at today. I would love to get this, right? And really get a quality little relief move on this market for that next entry point. That or even 18,000. Those would be the two levels that I would love to see for pullback longs. I've had some trouble, or at least I had some trouble yesterday, just longing, a straight up move off the open and continuing to long and long and long. I usually like to get those pullbacks. That's just a me problem, probably. That's just how I like to trade. I like to long after downside. I don't quite longing after a morning squeeze to the upside. So yesterday, we pretty much opened the morning and instantly went up. So you can see yesterday morning, we pretty much opened, went straight up. Could have obviously created some longs off that 18,070 level, which was very nice. I just didn't feel confident to long there yesterday too aggressively before any type of downside move. So I missed out on some opportunities to the upside. Meta, I was able to catch, but I obviously could have maybe trusted this 18,070 a little bit more yesterday than I did. But that was a nice hold and a nice continuation move. So today, I'm going to be looking to see, can we come back down into this level? Can we sort of retrace a little bit? Can we come back down into this level? Can we find a new long opportunity after pullbacks? That's where I feel most comfortable, and I would really like to try to stick to that rule, right? I know, sticking and being hard-headed for that pullback, right, may make us miss some opportunities once in a while, right, which maybe made me miss some of this upside yesterday. But I think that mindset of wanting those pullbacks before longing will also protect us from longing into rejection points, right? So it's a double-edged sword, right? The double-edged sword is, okay, on one edge, right? On one edge, it's, hey, you might miss out on just that upside opportunity. But on the other edge, it's okay if you stay true to that idea and you stay constant and you sort of keep a constant with wanting pullbacks before longing, it will also protect you from longing into these rejection points and losing on that pullback move. So I don't really want to lose on, longs into supply. I don't want to be the guy that continues to long this into rejection points. I'd rather be the guy that's maybe misses out on a little bit further upside but avoids. I would be the person that avoids that rejection. I just don't want to be part of that. I don't like being part of rejection moves that I longed into. That's something I try to avoid at all costs. So if my patience here to long makes me miss out on more upside, so be it. I would rather be in that boat than be the guy that gets caught in the major rejection move. So I'm going to continue to look for those pullbacks, 18,070, 18,000. If we get those, I will be focused on where this market can hold up and where I can look for that next entry point. So 18,070, 18,000, and then above, be careful at this 18,226 today. You could also use this 50 SMA today as a guide, right? We can see we are still holding above that 50 SMA, so be aware of that. 18,140, that is definitely a hold level for now. You can see right there at that 50 SMA, we're finding some support here in the pre-market. So that could be an area to watch as well. 18,140, 18,070, 18,000, some areas to be looking for downside and holds. Up above, 18,200 to 226 looks to be our rejection point for now. QQQ, you guys can see right here, we moved up into this 440.4, and I'll show you where that 440.4 comes from. For now, it looks like that is our area that is, sort of staying below. We're staying below that 440.4 for now. Yesterday, very nice hold over that Friday high. You can see right here, that 436.40. This was our Friday high, and we held that really nicely yesterday morning. So a nice hold there on the Qs yesterday. Nice upside continuation up into this next supply level. And I'll zoom out, and I'll show you where this stems from, this 440.4. Let me go out to the 90-day. Let me go back over here. Let me zoom in on this. So right here, 440.4. For now, looks to be a little bit of an area that we've seen some previous holds, right? We can see right there. We can see a little bit right here. And we can see this rejection that I spotted on the hourly chart right there, right? You can see that 440.4 has a little bit of a rejection there on Friday. This is April 12th. And we can see all these previous lows that came in all right here. It's right around that 440.4 level. So we're sort of pushing into that today, and we can see that's where the market is stalling slightly. You can see the market's stalling around that 440.4 today. So that'll be a level I watch for potential rejections. Above that level, you are looking at, if we get above that level today, 440.4, you're looking at 442.50. That is a high right here. That is some rejections all right here, 440 or 442.50. You can see right there, 442.50 and 442.50. So that'll be my level above if we do see more upside today, right? If I zoom in on this, if we do get more upside today, this would be the target right here, 442.50. If we get that upside move and that continuation, the target would be up into that 442.50. All right. We'll go down to the 15-minute again. Look at this on a shorter term time frame. This would be that target, 442.50 above. This is your high from yesterday, 440.4. So these are the two levels that I'd be watching to the upside, 440.4 and 442.50. To the downside, obviously, a pullback here would be awesome, 446.50. That is a Friday high and a yesterday low. A pullback here, I think, would create a nice opportunity back to the upside. And some intraday levels that we can watch from yesterday. Go to the 5-minute chart. We could create some levels here, right? For 439, you can see is a possible hold level here in the pre-market. And then these highs around this 438, right, around there, are two levels to be watching as well. Let me zoom in a little bit. Share with you why I have these. 439 right there, right? We can see this is a yesterday rejection point that we broke through end of day. So we are holding that right now in the pre-market, 439. Below that, you have this intraday high that sort of created itself around 438 right there. So two levels you could watch for some intraday pullbacks. I don't trust, right? I'm more trusting in this level at 436.50 too long than I am some intraday levels that were created yesterday, right? This is a more heavy, longer-term time frame level at 436.50 than this intraday level that was created yesterday. These two intraday levels that were created yesterday. So you could watch these, right? 439. You could watch this 438. You could keep an eye on the holds at these pullback levels. I would prefer and be more confident down at this 436.50. Today, if you get above this high, right, and you hold above this, that is your signal to look for more upside, right? Today, if we get above yesterday high, if we get above this pre-market high right here at 440.4, if we see a break and hold above this level, if you see a break and hold above this level today, that is your signal to look for that move into the 442.50. All right, so right there, 440.4, big level today. Be aware of that. If you get above it, look for upside. Be careful of longing into it, right? We don't want to be too aggressively long right into pre-market highs. That would be pre-market highs and yesterday's highs. We want to be careful being aggressively long into that level today. We might want to see some pullbacks into some of our levels before looking for that next long entry. All right. So that's that on the QQQ. ES, really key level here at 52.15. This goes back on the hourly chart. Let me go ahead and show you why. 52.15 right here. If I zoom in on this April 15th action, all right, remember April 15th has showed up quite a bit here. You see this right here, this right here, this right here, this right here, and this right here. That is multiple reactions at 52.15. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 reactions at 52.15 back in middle of April. That is the level that we are sitting below right now, right here, 52.15. So that's going to be a level we need to be careful of today, right? We want to be careful being long right into that level today. 52.15 could give us a little bit of that pullback that we might want to see. So right there at 52.15 is a level I'd watch today. If we get above that 52.15, let me go back on the hourly chart. If we get above this 52.15 level, I would say your next move is into that 52.50, right? So 52.15, above that 52.50, which is right there. So I would be watching today, do we see rejections at 52.15 or do we get above it? And if we get above it, that would be my long entry for that move into 52.50. All right. To the downside, we have the 51.87. 51.87 was our level that we talked about yesterday, right? Remember yesterday morning, we saw those rejections at 51.87. We saw some tough action there pretty much for the first hour, pretty much for the first, until 1 o'clock yesterday. We could not get above 51.87. It was difficult for the ES to get above 51.87 for the first few hours of the market until around 1 o'clock where we got an upside push, right? So that would be now a very nice pullback level. If we got a pullback there, if we got a pullback to that 51.87, that would now be the level that I would look to potentially long off of, right? Because this was a previous rejection point yesterday. This is now the 50 SMA. And if we do get some weakness up here and see some downside action, this would now be our new potential long entry down at that 51.87. So that is going to be somewhere I'm definitely watching if the market does pull back slightly today. Looks like there was some reactions at the 5,200 yesterday. There were some reactions here around that 5,202, right? We can see some reactions in this 5,200 to 5,202 area. We could watch this today, right, for maybe some short-term demand to step up. You can see we held here yesterday. We held here in the pre-market. We have that 5,200 here. That's a psychological level. So we could watch some action here around the 5,200. This could be a level that holds on today. I would be more confident, however, like I said in the previous, I'd be more confident at this major level at 51.87. So we can watch this 5,200 area. I think there is definitely some holds that are showing here, right, around this 5,200, which could be sort of that pullback in a short-term long area. But I would be more confident here. This would be my confident long entry back at the 50 SMA, back at the 51.87 area from yesterday. Now, of course, if we don't get that pullback and this market just continues higher, then we need to be looking long over 52.15 right there, over that previous high, 52.15. All right. SPY. So here's something that I'm, no, that Me6 spot, $6 a month, that's not valid. I mean, I don't even know where you found that. I don't think I have that on anywhere anymore. here's where I want to be careful, right? This is sort of my mindset. This is why I've been just a little bit cautious here on the upside moves. And you can see those yellow boxes that I have. This is sort of my concern. Now, I don't know if this is a valid concern now. Of course, it doesn't have to. These gaps don't have to get filled. It's not a necessity for gaps to get filled immediately. It could take weeks. It could take months. You don't know how long it's going to take. But this is something that I have been just a slight bit cautious on, and it's the gaps that have been created on this SPY on the upside move. So the first major gap came between Thursday and Friday of last week. We had a huge gap up here between around, call it 505 to let's just call it 508. 505, 508, 506, 508.50. This is the first gap that I'm sort of aware of and I see there. The second gap that was created was yesterday. Yesterday morning from Friday night, you can see another gap here from 512 to 513. All right, so on this move higher, the SPY has left behind some gaps. It has left behind some levels that have not been tested. There's sort of straight gap ups, right? From here, sort of gaps and goes, right? No pullbacks to fill those gaps. No pullbacks to come back to previous highs and find demand at those levels. You have pretty much just gapped and goed the last few days. So I'm a little bit cautious on that, right? Doesn't mean that I should be looking for a downside because the market has clearly stayed very strong, but something that I want to be aware of on this SPY and how it's moved higher over the last few days, right? I'm slightly cautious of, hey, we've left behind some ugly gaps. I'm not sure if those need to get filled or not, so I'm slightly cautious on that. Just something I wanted to point out there and make sure you're aware of. The level that I would be watching today is 518 on the SPY. Let me go ahead and zoom out and show you why 518. And it's a pretty big level here. All right, so here's the SPY. Here is it dating back all the way to March 3rd. Right, you can see right here. This is March 3rd. So March 3rd, right here, March 8th and March 14th, we see 518 and 518. Very aggressive rejections off 518 on March 8th and March 14th. You can see that very clearly. 518 was a major rejection point on the market on SPY back in March. Now, if we go a little bit further, we can go and zoom in a little bit further, go into April. All right, we can see right here was a nice hold at 518 once we got above it. And right here was a pretty, sort of choppy area at 518. And then over here on April 15th, which you guys have heard me say April 15th a lot, April 12th was that Friday. And right there was 518. 518 was really that rejection move that started this downside on the SPY. It was at 518, which you can also remember what we just talked about on that March level. And you can see today, we are right into that 518. So I'm a little bit cautious into this 518 today, right? Does 518 break? Or is it time we get a little bit of this gap fill action? Do we need some pullback off this 518? This is going to be something I watch today very closely. 518 today to the upside would be a level I'd be focused on. Be careful being too aggressively long into that 518. We have seen those previous reactions at that level. The first level to the downside that I would look for new longs is definitely 515. Why 515? Right here, right yesterday. Look at the hold at 515 yesterday, late day. That is a really strong hold at 515. Right? We couldn't get above that 515 intraday yesterday. When we got above it, we turned it into support and held it very nicely, pushed to the upside. So today, if we do get a pullback, what's the first level I watch? The first level I watch is right here at 515. Below that, it's the 513 level. That's the yesterday low, and that's where that gap starts, right? That's where that gap starts at 513. The gap starts. I'll show you where once again. We go here. You can see right here. If we zoom in, the gap up from yesterday morning, the low, right, the opening low, the opening of yesterday, the low of that was 513.30, right? And so under that 513.30, you have a gap into Friday's highs at 512. This is the gap that I'm referring to, right there. Between yesterday's open and Friday's high, we have a dollar gap on the SPY if we see a move under that 513. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get that, but that is just something you have to have on your charts and be aware of. 512 to 513 has a gap on the SPY. All right. Before we even consider that gap, though, we have to be aware of the 515 demand that could hold up this SPY. All right. We could definitely see a hold here at 515 today. So watch that 515. That is definitely a pullback long potential level to watch today. And of course, I'd be cautious up here at 518. All right. SPY's in a little bit of no man's land for me here, right? SPY's in a little bit of a no man's land here, right? It's sort of in twilight zone. It's not at a key level. It's not at my 515. It's not at my 515. And it's sort of just in the middle of nowhere, right? It's in the dead zone. So I would prefer us to pop and fade, or I'd prefer us to drop and pop, right? Do the drop and pop or the pop and fade. I really want to set up trades here or here. I don't really feel confident setting up trades just sort of in the middle of this area. My key levels are here, and my key levels are here, right? So if I'm going to set up a trade today, I'm going to want to be here, or I'm going to want to be here, right? I'm going to want to have one of those SPY levels as my support today on the SPY. So I don't love where it's sitting right now. All right. Let's go to the Russell. Russell, nice upside yesterday, and the Russell is actually holding over a really, really key level right now. The Russell is holding over that 2070 level. So we talked about that 2070 yesterday, right? 2070, 2070, 2070. Yesterday's highs, or I'm sorry, that Friday high right here. Look at this. See that Friday high at 2070? This is actually quite nice on the Russell. So you can see right here, 2070 high from Friday. Look at where we're holding above this morning. So if that Russell stays over 2070, you're going to have to keep looking for upside here on the Russell, right? If you stay above that 2070 today, it's going to want to stay higher. That's definitely key. So something to watch there if you are trading small caps, if you are trading the Russell, that 2070 level definitely is holding. And that is a Friday high, and we are turning that into support. That's bullish, right? That's bullish on the Russell for sure. Above 2070 is definitely bullish on the Russell. If the Russell fails to hold 2070 today and falls back below it, that could be a sign of some weakness there. So I'd say watch 2070 very closely today on the Russell. Dow Jones, Mike Jones, nice hold here above the 38,800 yesterday. Right? 38,800 was a very key flip level. And you can see yesterday, if we zoom in on this, we held that 38,800 pretty strong and that 100 SMA. You can see right here, look at that Dow hold of the 100 SMA yesterday and the hold over 38.8. So if we pull back to Dow 38.8, if you are trading the Dow, that could be a potential long level to watch today. That 100 SMA, that yesterday low, that 38,800 looks like a key level today. I'd be watching that on the Dow if you are trading the Dow. All right. So for now, I'd say 518 SPY is number one. I think that's number one level of the day. I think that's the clearest level and most important is 518 SPY. ES 5215, another big one and very clear there, 5215. That QQQ 440.4, which is that pre-market high right now. I'd be watching that very closely. And that NASDAQ 18220. Those are our important levels to be paying attention to today. All right. Tesla. So yesterday I took some puts on Tesla overnight. Looks like they should open up, if it stays where it's at, should be opening up relatively profitable here. The reason I took those puts on Tesla overnight was because of this supply, right? This 186 level. We talked about this 186 and we talked about the 180 demand, right? We talked about that 8-point range that Tesla has been trading within. Let me delete this for now. I'll put that back on the charts in a second. But that was really the 6-point range that we were very aware of yesterday intraday. And what we saw yesterday was, in my opinion, sort of key to once again show that supply was still there. Yesterday, we tried to get above 186, or we did. We tried to hold above it, but failed, right? You can see intraday yesterday, We tried to get a break and hold above that 186, but ultimately failed, rejected, came back up into it, rejected. So we came back below that 186 and it turned back into a rejection point. That was very key, right? Because if Tesla wanted to break over 186, it would have popped and held and continued, right? It would have wanted to turn, you would have wanted to see 186 turn into a new support level yesterday. It did not do that, right? It turned it back into a rejection intraday yesterday, which in my opinion was very key. 186, 186, tried to hold it, failed, and could not get back above. So that's a pretty key rejection there for Tesla at 186. Now, overnight, big downside on Tesla, but came back into the 180 demand, which once again you can see is holding. So today, I'll probably take profits on the Tesla puts, right? That's for sure, because I don't want to really be that short into 180. That was never where my goal is not to get Tesla to break out under 180. My goal on Tesla was just to reject 186. For the time being, it looks like this 182, it looks like 182.60 is another rejection point, and I'll show you why. So if we look at this, you can see where are we rejecting in the pre-market right now. That is right here, right? These lows from yesterday. You have some of this up here. You have some of this rejection here from Friday. You have some of these holds from Thursday morning where we broke below, right? Rejected. We tried to hold it here, and we are rejecting it right now in the pre-market. So for today, I'd be watching 182.60. Of course, that 186 rejection point, and then be careful of being short into 180. 180 still looks like a pretty quality hold level. So I took shorts pretty much near close yesterday, right around here. So should be green on those this morning. Probably take profits on them because really the profit target is 180. I don't really want to be short into 180. We have seen support step up there. What would I look for today? Well, I would look to see, does 180 show up again, right? Where the fuck do you get these levels from? You're watching it, my friend. It's something you are witnessing with your eyes, okay? So, anyways, 182.60, right? You can see right there, 182.60. I'd be watching that. If you get a pop into that today, that could be a rejection spot, right? But I would not be too aggressively short into 180 today. Be careful down there at 180. Nvidia. Nvidia. Jesus, man. Oh, man. I missed it. All right. All right. 90-day 1 hour chart. Where am I? Where am I? What am I watching? Who put me here? All right. So, Nvidia, 908. 908. You guys can see right here. 908, right? See this on Nvidia? 908, 908, 908. Look at the top right of your screen. The top right of your screen shows you the time frame and the hour. Shows you everything. 908. There's a high. There's a high. There's a high. You see those 908 highs on Nvidia? Very clear 908 highs on Nvidia, right? Very clear 908 highs on Nvidia. That's extremely clear. Where is Nvidia holding above? Right? Right here. Right? Look at that. Look at that 908. So, today, all right, today, if Nvidia holds over 908, that is still very bullish for Nvidia, right? That is still very, very strong on Nvidia. 908. You can see right here. You can see right here. 908. Bam. Bam. 2 holds yesterday. You can see bam, bam, bam. And yet today, you can see where we are still holding above 908. So today, what would I look for? Hey, if Nvidia pulls back to 908 and starts to hold, that could be a really nice long entry. All right, so let's be looking for that today. That is a very important hold above a key level here. If I go back to the hourly chart, that is no joke of a hold there at 908. So that is something I'm definitely watching. 908, if we get a strong hold above that, boom. Potential upside towards that 935. If we break under 908, I'm not in love with the longs until 885. I'm not in love with the longs. If we break under 908, I would want us to get, if we break under 908, I would want us to get down into 885, right? That would be where I want to get that long, right here, 885, right? You could see 895 right here. It could be 895 right in there, 895 right there, right there. You see 895. That could be an interesting spot as well, but I really would trust that 885, right? So if you get down into 895, you could look for that long. If you get down into 885, I think that's an even stronger long down at that level. But for now, 908 is holding, right? 908 is holding, and I would be very aware of 908 today. What about 925? Yeah, let me take a look at 925. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some there margin. I see it. I was just sort of pointing out the major 4-hour level here. So you can see on the 4-hour chart, if we go back to the 4-hour chart here, right there, you see 935, 935, and 935 right there. Boom, boom, boom. So I think that's the really major one. 925, yeah, you got something in there. You got these lows. You got a little bit of high here and that wick high right there. So you could keep that on your charts right around that 925. That could be something to watch. I'll pop that on there just to be safe. So 925, 935 would be the two levels. That 935 looks pretty damn heavy, right? Look at that 935 reaction there on Nvidia. So yeah, 935, 925, a hold over 908 would be the strong long opportunity. And you can see right now in the pre-market, you are definitely trying to hold that. So watch that 908 today. That is definitely a hold from yesterday as well. Look at the 5-minute chart yesterday, guys. Look at this on the 5-minute yesterday. Look how clean that was. Right here. Look at that. 908. 908. All right, Diego, I'm going to answer this one time, and that's it. Please stop spamming the chat with your questions. I'll answer it one time. I used all different time frames. Watch the live stream. You don't need to ask me. Watch the live stream. Watch the time frames that I am looking at. I'm doing it live in front of your face. I am doing everything that I would do myself in front of you right now live. So pay attention to that. Second, yes, adjust for contract training on the futures. Okay, that's it. Please stop asking that same question. All right, 908. Big level on Nvidia. AMD. So AMD, nice upside yesterday, and what a fucking beautiful 151 level. If anyone remembers this from yesterday, we talked about that pullback long at 151, right? Right here, 151, 151. We had a perfect pullback long at 151. That was awesome. 151, 151. Awesome, awesome pullback long yesterday. So congrats on that. Today, 153, very strong hold level. And the level that needs to break above is 157, without a doubt. We need to break over 157 to get upside continuation, all right? To get upside continuation over 157, guys, you don't have to delete Diego's, okay? Just relax. I might have taken it too far. But there's your answer. Watch the live stream. You'll get all your answers from just watching the live stream. All right. 157, 157, 157. That's the level to watch, right? There's your highs, your high, your low, and your high. So watch the 157 level, okay? That's your level to watch on AMD. 153 down below. You're in a little bit of a consolidation, right? A little bit of a consolidation. You can see right there, right between 153 and 157. You need to get over 157 for more upside continuation, right? We need to get over 157 for upside into 160. If we get over 157, I'm very interested in longs on AMD. That looks like a nice opportunity to break above that 157, which has been a very key rejection point on AMD for a long time now. That is also the 20 SMA. All right, over 157 is the 20 SMA on AMD. So that would be a big watch today. Look to see if AMD can get above that. If it can, potential longs. I would also, of course, be interested in what? This, right? I'd be very interested in this. If we see 157 start to reject today, then that could be a very nice watch, right? So very key, very clean consolidation channel here on AMD. I think some opportunity will arise out of this channel. Watch 157, watch 153. Two very clean levels to watch on AMD today. SMCI, what a beautiful hold over 800 yesterday. I know some of you guys caught this in the chat. Some of you longed SMCI off 800. That was perfection, right? We had 800 here and a beautiful hold over 800 there, right? Right there, 800, sexy, really sexy. High, low, break and retest long, very nice on SMCI. Now today, we do need to be careful a little bit into this 860. This 860 was a big previous level, and we're sort of trading towards it. Be careful of 860 rejections, okay, if you are long SMCI. I would love a pullback long at 800. I would love that, right? If we can get another pullback and a nice long at 800, I would absolutely be watching that today. If you want to be long today, SMCI, I would want to be long near that 800 right here. Look to see if SMCI can give you that pullback. If it can, and it starts to hold again, this could be a nice long once again off 800. So pullback longs on SMCI look good. Watch 800. I would be careful of the 20 SMA. I'd be careful of that 860 level as well. TSM, big level for TSM today. 143 has been a major level on TSM for a very long time, right? Very long time. 143, look at this level on TSM. Right here, 143, 143, 143, 143, and look at this 143 today. Big stuff, all right? Big stuff at that 143. So I'd be careful there. I think TSM might need some pullback off this level, right? What has TSM done here on the way higher? It's extended, it's pulled back to the uptrend. It's extended, it's pulled back to the uptrend. It's extended, what has it done after an extension move? It pulls back to the uptrend. So what I would want to be, where you want to long a move like this, guys, just think about this logically. Who's winning in this area, right? Who has won on TSM in the last few weeks? The people that have won on TSM in the last few weeks are the ones that have longed at the uptrend, right? The people that have longed off this uptrend are the people that are making money to the upside, right? The people that long it after extensions are not making money, right? Chasing upside, they're getting stuck in the pullbacks back to the uptrend, right? So where do you want to long TSM? You want to long TSM at the uptrending move. And so what I would look for is TSM to reject this 143 level, maybe come back down to this uptrend, and then look to see if that next long sets up. That would be where I'd be looking for TSM. So I would say personally, I would not long it into 143 today. I would look for a pullback to this 139.50, right? Pull back to this triple top high, come back down into here, come back down to that uptrend, and then see if that long sets up again, right? That's something I'd be watching on TSM here, that 139.50 pullback, back to that uptrending move. Be careful of 143 rejections. All right. Meta. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. What a sexy one. I mean, just a sexy Zuckerberg move right here. Yesterday, Friday highs, pull back to that high, awesome long. And yes, how it set up yesterday was just so clean. If we go to the 2-minute chart, pretty much what Meta did yesterday was it pulled back in a sort of a downtrending move, right? Right here. You see that little downtrend that it created yesterday morning on Meta. You had that pop. You had that little downtrending move. And then once that downtrend broke off that demand, it was it, right? That was it. So that was sick, right? That was sick. Meta has room into 475. We can absolutely get there, right? 475 is really where that gap closes. So we could absolutely see that move and that continuation to 475 on Meta. If we go down to the 5-minute chart, where do I want to see entry points today? There's a few spots. 463 is one, right? 463 is number one. Number 1, 463. Number 2 is 460.5. And number 3 is 458. Those would be 3 pullback levels I'd watch for. Right here, right there, or right here would be 3 pullback levels I'd look for on Meta for that next long entry. 463 would be the strongest, right, and the most likely to be upside continuation. 460.5 and that 458. I would absolutely look for more upside on Meta today. It definitely could come up into this 475. Of course, be careful of yesterday's highs at 466. But I would look for these pullback longs today on Meta. What a beautiful opportunity that was yesterday. Netflix did exactly what we expected. Look at this Netflix daily. We talked about Netflix to fill this gap here above 580, and it pretty much did that fully yesterday. So this trade's over. All right, this trade is, in my eyes, this trade is over. We are now too close to this supply right here and this 50 SMA at 605 to be interested in longs. Not interested anymore, right? That trade is pretty much done and over just in one day. If you get pullbacks on this back to 580, of course I'd be looking for that long again, right? So really my only spot to be long Netflix at this point is back at 580. I would want to be long back at where it held yesterday. I don't want to be long into the 605 area. Too much supply there. That gap is pretty much closed. In my opinion, that's over. Microsoft, I'd be watching 410 today. You guys can see right here, 410. I'd be looking to see if Microsoft can hold that 410 today. That would be a big level. 410 to 420 was our previous channel. I'd be watching 410 today. Can Microsoft hold above that today? That's something I'd absolutely watch. The other one that did exactly what we wanted yesterday was Amazon. Amazon pretty much did the same thing as Meta, right? Look at this Amazon move yesterday. Amazon came back into that Thursday high. You can see right here, came back into that Thursday high, held it, and popped. Beautiful hold of that Thursday high at 185 on Amazon. Today, I'd be watching this. Here's what I'd be watching on Amazon. Friday highs, 187.80. Look at how you're holding that right now. So Amazon looks really interesting off Friday's highs. You can see a break and hold of Friday's highs right now. Watch that 180.8 on Amazon, and then watch that 187. I'm sorry, 187.8 Friday highs, and that 187. These would be 2 pullback levels I'd watch for that push into the 190. Let's take a quick look at Shopify. Shopify continuing our weekly chart. Look at that weekly chart, man. That is sexy. Earnings are tomorrow morning. If you want to take part in this, you're going to have to be in it today if you want to be part of that earnings move. Maybe this is a breakout on earnings, right? Maybe this is a long off earnings, right? You can see right here, 70. Really nice, right? 70, break and retest on the weekly, breakout of this downtrend on the weekly. Really nice move yesterday on Shopify. Earnings are tonight or tomorrow morning, so tough to say, guys. You know, may the odds be forever in your favor. What do they do? The 3 fingers on the Hunger Games? May the odds be forever in your favor. I am not going to recommend anything here, but that is an interesting weekly chart, something to be keeping an eye out for. Oh, last one I want to pop in on is Apple, because, guys, Apple off 180 might be a sexy trade here. I don't think you want to take that Apple news lightly. I think that Apple news is actually sort of big for it, right? I think that could be a pretty big event, or pretty big, sort of news for Apple in the short term. And you can definitely see 180 is really holding. Not only is it 180, it's the 200 and 100 SMA. So I don't think I don't think I could ever say to someone, hey, you did a bad trade by longing off the 200 and 100 SMA. That's traditionally a very strong level to be longing off of. So if you see Apple back here at 180, if you see the 100 and 200 SMA holding, this could be just a really good long opportunity here. I'd be watching that 180 very closely on Apple moving forward. Obviously, supply above at 187. All right. NASDAQ 18,226. QQQ 440.4. ES 5215 ES. And that SPY 518. That's going to be the big level for me today, is that SPY 518. That is, once again, if we go back to the 4-hour chart, 518 SPY on the 4-hour chart is very apparent. Be careful of 518 on the SPY today. Big watch there. All right, guys. Hopefully that helped you today. Get some levels on your charts. Get some watches out there. If it did, please press that like button for me. I'd appreciate that. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for stopping by. We'll be here tomorrow, so stop in tomorrow. Good luck today. Watch out for that 518 on SPY. I think that's your number one level to keep an eye out for. Pullback longs, still something I'm going to be looking for. I want to pull back. There's been some large gap ups on this market. Who knows, right? We don't have to pull back. That's the thing you got to be careful of, right? So you don't have to pull back. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Of course, I want to see some pullbacks. I want to see some longs to create those pullbacks to create longs. That doesn't have to happen, right? Make sure you keep that in mind today, all right? Press that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.